How's it everybody? Sanctum Gamer here. I am a YouTube content creator focusing on building large-scale detailed cities. And today, I am collaborating with Paradox Interactive to bring you this tutorial on how to use the landscape and pockets of foliage to add a little more character to your cities. The landscape can be a daunting thing to work on, and if not properly used, can lead to some pretty iffy looking builds and ground glitches. However, completely eliminating the landscape leads to massive flatlands, leaving your cities with very limited character. When building on the landscape, one of the most important things to pay attention to is the slope on which you will be building. You can take a look at the contour lines by enabling them here, or simply grab a road, drag it out over the land, and you will get this nifty tooltip that tells you the exact elevation change between the start and the end of the road segment. A positive change means the landscape is rising in the direction you've dragged the road, whilst a negative change means it's going down. Building on extreme elevations can also be challenging, so today I'll be sharing my technique that involves minimizing elevation change when building and still getting a good looking city with landscape variations. First, determine if the landscape is too steep to work with. If so, don't be afraid to flatten the landscape when starting out. Next, add a few small hills by lowering or raising the land, adjusting the brush strength to about 15% and increasing its size can make this process easier and smoother. Blend it all together using the smooth tool over the entire area that you plan to build on. From the ground level, you should see some small elevation differences across the landscape. Next, determine where you would like to have big hills and elevate the landscape in those areas. Though you can do this step after your road layout, I find it better to do it in advance as it prevents the temptation of filling the entire landscape with just roads. Now, plan your road layout. For this, I'm going for a mix of grid and non-grid. I like to use non-grid as the main road arterials, usually cutting them through the valleys between elevations and small grids in between. At this point, you can go ahead and change elevations of landscapes of areas sitting between your main arterial roads. This will add even more character to the city when you build the smaller local roads. Once done, go ahead and build out your town or your city. For areas of higher elevation differences, I prefer to use low density row houses. Since these are single cell buildings, they tend to look a lot better on such steep elevations. Once you're done with everything, go in with foliage. Place trees in empty lots for lovely green spaces and surround major roads with as many trees as possible. Now, enhance the larger hills with some contouring work and foliage detailing. Where you have big enough empty spaces, small elevations of the landscape can really help add that extra character. Once done, you will have a beautiful landscape with a road network that has realistic ups and downs, with certain areas more elevated than others. The big hills provide areas to build parks, recreational spots, hiking trails, or simply leave them dense foliage. Continue the process as your city grows, and before long, you will have a thriving metropolis with a beautiful landscape, rich looking forest, and nice pockets of green spaces. I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial on how to use the landscape more effectively in your cities and found it useful for your own builds going forward. Thank you all so much for watching. There are lots more videos like this coming, so to make sure you don't miss a single one, please be sure to subscribe here to the official City Skylines YouTube channel. Cheers!